Hello, everybody. Welcome in to the 10th edition of OGP. I'm joined by Jordan again.
As always, kind of like, yeah, I'm here.
Yep. How's it going, Jordan?
Going pretty good.
We are talking about Mario Wonder today on the show. But before we do that, we got to talk about what we've been playing. And I'll start with Jordan because I haven't really been playing much. There are a couple things I want to mention, but Jordan, if you would.
Yeah, I've got just a handful. One of them being, I was kind of playing through one of the PC games I've been meaning to get back to, being an older game called Homefront. I don't know if you remember this at all. It's a weird one where it's literally like North Korea has taken over the United States.
Okay.
You have to like, you're part of like the resistance. You have to fight back, or like a portion of it, anyways.
Sure.
It's a very short campaign, actually.
Yeah.
I think I ended up having played like 7 hours total. I think.
Okay.
I mean, I got it for free like forever ago, and I just kept getting lazy about it.
What would you give it on a scale of 1 to 10?
Like a 4 out of 10, honestly.
4 out of 10.
I never played. I think people said that like the multiplayer is a lot better, but I mean, I also didn't play it back in its heyday, so I have no opinion on it. Right. I've still been playing Solo Churrobo. I'm on chapter 8 of the second half of it, so I'm getting pretty close to the end. And then another one which I've been playing like different variations of it. It's the I don't know if you've heard of it, the Suika game.
Yes, I have heard about this.
Yes. So I think it came actually out 4 or 5 years ago.
Is it that old? Wow.
Yes, yeah. And it was actually literally the same day as Mario Wonder came out on the eShop over here in the US. I think it's only like $3, and it's a very simple concept. If people who don't know about it, essentially you just like combine different like fruits together to make like a bigger fruit, and you have to like it's almost like almost Tetris-y in a kind of way.
It's falling block, falling fruit.
Right,
game.
but like weird physics and stuff, and I've been playing like other like fan variations of being a Hollow Life fan. There's different variations of it with those characters.
Sure.
But like obviously like still like the like circular heads pretty much. Yeah, that's really all I've been playing though.
Is it pretty addictive? It looks like it would be. Yeah.
Yes. It's very much, it's like you want to try to get that higher score, try to get to like the watermelon or like whatever the biggest one is. And like even like sometimes you get like very close and like they won't get close enough to touch. So it's like they won't combine. It's like no, get in there.
Very cool. I've actually been meaning to give that a try myself. The world record holder for it currently for like the 3,000 point category is a top Melee player.
Oh yeah.
Actually.
That's funny.
I don't have really games that I want to talk about, but I just did want to mention these two bits of news because I think they're interesting. First of all, the EverDrive N8 Pro got an update that added like 7 or 8 mappers.
Oh, interesting.
We're getting really close to like a nearly complete mapper list.
I'll have to download that later.
Yeah. So I messed around with that a little bit, and then the other thing that happened in between our last episode, I think, was the Analog 3D got announced, and that is very intriguing.
Right.
Remains to be seen what that is actually going to look like.
Yeah, and I know some people are already kind of iffy because it's not going to support Open FPGA from what I heard.
That's correct, yeah. Which is a huge missed opportunity.
Yeah.
But we do have the pocket for that, I guess. It's not ideal, but I think we'll talk about that on a future episode for sure. Because I think maybe you're considering getting one as well.
At some point, yeah. It's still kind of on the back burner.
Yeah.
Because I've still got my other stuff for my streaming stuff. I still gotta acquire first before I think about any other bigger purchases.
Yeah, for sure. All right, with that out of the way, let's talk about Super Mario Wonder, Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Yeah, see, it's very easy to leave out the bros, but it is part since it's the 2D. It's still part of the same line.
Right. I've got a couple things here that we can cover, but do you want to just give me your initial impressions of the game?
Very fluid movement.
Yes.
Like it's just a lot of fun just running and jumping, and especially as well as looking at all like the tiny animations.
Yeah.
Like I ended up playing mainly as Mario, but seeing like his face when he's running, very super serious, and just looking at the little things he does while you're moving and running. It's just a lot of fun.
It's been a long time since we've been able to appreciate the visuals of a 2D Mario game, or the controls for that matter.
Right.
So that is huge. Actually, controls was the first thing I had written down, and I think the game, it controls just a million times better than the new Super Mario Brothers games. For sure. And it seems like it comes down to the momentum. It's just so much easier to kind of do those quick turns in the air and stuff. And that lends sort of a almost Mario World-esque gameplay
a little,
feel to it. it's not exactly that, but it's not the really heavy feeling of New Super Mario Brothers either.
Right, and they kind of more sluggish in a way.
Yeah. Controls great, and the visuals was the second thing, which you also touched on. Yeah, the character animations are so nice. I do like how it's all very snappy. It's a 3D, 2.5D game. Yeah, but it almost feels hand drawn at times.
At times, yeah.
Because it's got that real snappy animation between different.
I think
poses.
it's like the closest approximation we've gotten to like the older, like the original box art stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when he jumps, it almost looks like it was pulled off one of those, like the Mario 2 box art or something.
I like the ones where like he like jumps, kind of like has like hands back.
Yeah, that's super cool too. Dumb, it's so expressive.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I love all the visuals. I'm trying to think of some of my favorite visual moments. The Bowser Castle is an especially good one. Also, this is full spoilers at this point, by the way. Me and Jordan beat this in like
3 days.
3 days, like 100%ed it. So we're just going to be full on with the spoilers. So I can mention this. It was also shown in the trailer, to be fair, but like the missile Megs coming down from the sky and leaving like a color trail. Those levels are
sick.
They're very, very cool.
Which I didn't realize that was going to be in like the final level.
Yeah, that was surprising. It really was. And then all the wonder effects too are visually fantastic. Apart from the gameplay, which is super cool.
I think I don't know if we want to talk about those next or
the Wonder Flowers. Yeah, let's get into. You want to talk about level design? Let's talk level design.
Yeah, we can do that first.
So, because the wonder effects do sort of fit into this. One big thing I noticed about the level design is just the use of enemies. Is like they showed incredible restraint in like the way the enemies are used. Some of these guys only show up once or twice.
Yeah, like there's very, very few like overlap.
Yeah. One that really stuck out to me was Thwomps. Like I was playing through, I'm like, oh, I guess there aren't going to be Thwomps. They just show up randomly in like World 3 or 4.
There's only a handful of us that show up.
Another one is his name is I think Mama. He's like a
the thing that like
sire looking guy.
The thing that like opens his mouth and eats the Goombas.
That's only in like 2 levels, and it's such a inventive new kind of enemy. I thought that was great, and just the fact too, there's tons of new enemies.
Oh yeah,
the mummy that you pull apart was one that I saw in the trailer. I thought was going to be cool.
Yeah,
it's cool in the game.
It's a lot of fun. There's very few like returning enemies.
Yeah, you've got the Goombas. I was sort of surprised. You encountered the skeleton Goomba. I guess I never realized it was a Goomba underneath that skeleton. I thought it was a totally unique thing, so that was a bit of new lore.
Right, yeah. I think the only ones I can think of are, Thwomps, Koopas.
Who also, a lot of these enemies have a new twist to them, too, like the Koopas do. With the roller blading variety.
And then I also love how with Goombas, like you can still like bump into them and they won't attack. Like they won't hurt you. It's when they like actually like bite at you is when they actually hurt. Which I love that new little twist to the characters.
Just so much cleverness in this game. What are some of the other standout enemies? I mean, the hippos are kind of a enemy to some degree. They're an obstacle.
Yeah. Like so you have to like bounce on top of them.
I love the bull rushes.
Oh, those are so much fun.
And they're used so well, too, with the wonder effects as well. I think that was maybe the thing that got me the most about this, is like just how many new characters they're willing to put in here.
Right.
Like, you don't need to have the same thing that we've seen a million times. Here's some brand new characters for you to fall in love with.
We'll have a handful of ones that you recognize, but it's like everything else is like brand new. You have no idea what's coming at you next.
That's sort of the thrill of the game. Okay, so there's like basically 2 kinds of levels. And we were talking about the wonder effects. That's one kind, and then you have these other like side mission level things.
Yeah, kind of like breather levels.
Yeah, there's a couple here I wrote down. You got the badge challenges, the quote unquote break time.
Oh, I love those
areas,
ones.
which are a lot of fun. And then I think these are probably people's least favorite, if I could guess, but I still thought they were kind of fun. The search party areas, very interesting level designs there.
Those ones I think are more so for like multiplayer play.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like the idea is like you have to. Well, at least a lot of them, you have to like utilize like different characters. Or some of them you have to like find like the hidden blocks that only certain characters can see. And the idea is like to keep going through with like different characters, or play with like 3 other people and play it all at the same time.
Right. It's definitely doable single player, but multiplayer makes it a lot easier. I don't know if you agree with this, but I got some Mario Maker influence off of these particular levels. Like especially with the break time, it's like here's a 1-screen thing with a gimmick that you're gonna play through.
I know there's a few of those that like they were just a lot of fun, like because they were very like low stakes.
Oh, for sure,
because it's like, oh, let's see what little like fun side things we can throw in.
I especially love the music based ones.
The music ones are so much fun.
They got like the Delfino Plaza music. Then the badge challenges were overall, I think, some of the best of the side content.
Oh, for sure.
Not only do you get like a new way to control one of the characters, but they're just designed so tightly.
Yeah, plus they're a way for you to test out that badge first before even utilizing it.
For sure. We'll talk about badges later, but there's a lot of fun ones too. Okay, and then the wonder effects, though.
Yeah.
Like, these are your main levels, and each of the main levels has a level-altering, gameplay-altering effect that's mostly unique to it. There are a couple levels that reuse wonder effects, which was something I felt like the early reviews sort of misled people on, is like the idea that every level has a different one. But no, some of these ideas are reused, and
but I think they're used differently, and
that's definitely true. Yeah. It's more like expanding on an idea, and it would be a shame if some of these just were used once and then thrown away. I guess, do we need to explain these? I feel like a lot of people who would be listening to this already know what they are.
Not really explain, because like
it's hard to.
Yeah, it's very hard to, because like we said, like a lot of them are very different from each other. It's hard to like be like, oh, here's this wonder effect, but this is also a wonder effect. This is also a wonder effect.
Right.
So
maybe it'd be worth talking about examples of these different ones. I wrote down some of my favorites.
Yeah.
So early on in the game, there's a Piranha Plant musical level.
That's what I wanted to talk about too. I love that one.
That was so good.
Because it comes out of nowhere.
You touch the Wonder Flower, and then Piranha Plants pop out of the pipes, and they start singing to you.
And then even the other flowers was like, wait, what's going on? Like, hold on, why are they singing?
That was a surprise. Another one, the Bull Stampede.
Yeah,
like that's used twice.
Yeah,
and it's just so cool. You're just like riding across, flying through the air, and you're riding on the back of these bulls. One that I haven't heard a lot of other people talk about, but I thought was maybe my favorite like surprise moment was the quiz. There's a quiz Wonder Flower where it's like, how many badges do you currently have? It's like,
so
what?
Wait, it's like, I have not been paying attention. Hold on.
It's like 3 questions. I was hoping for actually more things like that are just like, we're gonna change what game it is. Now it's a quiz game.
Yeah, it's like change like the entire genre. Like one of that would be funny would be like a quick like dating show or something. That would it wouldn't.
So that sounds like it would be out of Paper Mario almost. Right?
Like it wouldn't make any sense, but it's like, wait, like it kind of works because it's weird.
I really, and the cool thing about that one too is how it uses the enemies still. That was kind of Mario Maker-ish too. And then the last one I wrote down here, there are many more. Is the Singing Kinbu. I thought that was
like a lot of fun,
the Kinbu opera.
Yeah, I like both because like they're both almost like not really rhythm game, but like musical. Like musicals in a sense.
Speaking of rhythm game, there is like a level that's a rhythm game.
Yeah,
we'll get back to that in a second. I guess my main question is just like, did they go far enough with the wonder concept? Because cool as they are, when I was reading reviews, I think the reviews maybe gave me a slightly incorrect perception of this game. Is like, the wonder effects will like blow your mind. You will like, it'll do something like totally out of the, like you'd never be able to imagine. Not exactly. Like a lot of these ideas are very like smart.
Yeah.
And I can see where they got the idea from. Like such as the one where you're now walking on the background. It switches perspective. That's super cool, but it's not like shocking to me in the same way that something closer to like the quiz was, where it's just like totally a different genre almost. I don't know. What do you think? Did they go far enough?
I feel like it might be like a good like baseline, and like if they come back to it, they can like introduce like more and more crazy things.
For sure.
I don't think they probably didn't want to like come like straight out of the gate like with like the craziest things you can imagine. It's like, if we're gonna come back to it, let's ease our way into it, basically.
I totally agree. A Mario Wonder 2 would be fantastic, or DLC.
Yeah,
you know, the crazy idea thing, right? I wrote this down because this was another thing that made me think that maybe we would get more insane than we did.
Right.
Did you read the developer interviews for
No,
this
I
game?
haven't yet.
They're a great read, by the way, for everyone who is interested in this. They talk about, for example, how Mario's model is specifically made to be viewed from that side angle, kind of in a way similar to what they did with Link Between Worlds, if you remember that, where it's kind of like skewed almost.
Yeah, like angled backwards.
Anyway, in it, Koji Kondo talked about how he got to contribute some ideas to the game, including, I think the rhythm level was one of those. But also, he had the idea for a, quote, 8 heads tall live-action Mario that would hum along to the game as a wonder effect. Now, that's like the kind of literally, like, wacko, insane sort of thing that I would have loved to see. So insane, in fact, that I'm like, oh man, if that's like what they dropped, what is in the game, you know? We didn't get anything nearly that wild.
There was one also thing one thing I did hear about, like talk about like the thing they dropped is with like the talking flowers.
Oh yeah.
They were planning for a quote unquote tsundere talking flower who would like berate you like if you're doing poorly enough in the level, like while playing, which I think like a lot of people actually really liked. Like a lot of the developers said that they were a fan of it. Yeah. But like actually implementing it, I think, was the challenge. Really.
Do we want to talk about that a little bit? Because that idea is sort of the genesis for the talking flowers in the game. They wanted to have live commentary.
Yeah, live commentary. Yeah.
I think it was described as like a football style commentary, like or that. Soccer maybe is what they meant. That idea morphed into what Jordan was just talking about the tsundere character that they had commentating the game, and then that changed into these talking flowers, which I thought they were cute at times. I'm not like head over heels about them, but I thought they were cute, and I do think it's a better thing than having just constant commentary being pumped in over the game. You sort of can like discover these little dialogue moments too and stuff.
And some also end up just straight up just dying anyway.
Yeah. Some of them do just die. It's interesting. It makes the world feel a little bit more alive at the very least. You know, you got NPCs in almost every level that have something to say. One issue that I did have with them, though, it's just more of a gameplay thing, actually, is... So, Bailey and I played through this game almost entirely two-player.
Yeah.
All right? So, when she runs past a flower, it talks. When I run past a flower, it says the same thing. Yeah. And then if you cross back over it, if you're like have to move around, it just repeats the same dialogue over and over again.
Yeah.
It would have been nice if you pass it, it says its thing, and then it shuts up.
Or maybe like says something a little different if you go past it.
Or that, correct, for sure. But I think as it is, it's a little awkwardly implemented, and not a huge deal.
I do like that there is a way you can turn them off, like in the settings.
Yes.
The funny thing is, I don't know if you've tested turning them off yet or not.
No, I haven't.
So if you turn off the voice, he literally says like, "Is it something I said?" Before you turn it off, it's like. So some people are like, "Okay, I feel a little bad," and then turn it back on. It's like, "Yeah, it is something you said, so I'll turn you off."
That's great. Let's talk about some of our favorite levels. So I wrote down 4 major ones here. First of all, there's the rhythm level we've been alluding to.
Yeah.
So this is super cool. If you jump along to the beat, it changes the level, and you can get like a combo of up to 4 going, and it's just an incredible idea. It changes the where the platforms are depending on what your combo is. The lights turn off. Very, very cool idea.
Yeah, like when you keep going, like isn't there like at one point there's like a disco ball kind of?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think you can only get some of the collectibles, like the 10 coins, if you have a max combo going at the time.
Yeah, it's like because if you go too low, it'll like disappear into the background, basically.
Such a unique idea.
I think those are the only levels that the ninjas show up in as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Well, they're not as enemies,
actually,
though. Yeah. But like they show up in the background, or like it's kind of like a way to show you, like, hey, this is how you play this level, basically.
That's fascinating. That level 2 is interesting because after you beat it, you get a badge that allows you to play that kind of rhythm mode on every other level in the game,
which is really sick.
Except for the badge challenges. Yeah. You know, that's wild, and I'm waiting for people to do like FCs of the various Mario levels. I've been meaning to, at least on like the first one. It's a lot more challenging than you might even think. Another one I have down before, because I think you're maybe looking for.
Yeah, see, I'm still kind of scrolling through.
Another one I have is the level where you get to ride a giant dragon. It starts off as like a skeleton. You hit the Wonder Flower, and then it turns into a living giant Yoshi-looking dragon.
Yeah, so when I first saw the face, I'm like, Yoshi? What are you doing? I was like, why are you a dragon now?
That was really cool. And you know, some of these ideas are just we've seen before. Like, is the flying dragon really that different from like a snake block in some respects? But it's just the visual flair that goes into it that makes it so much more compelling. Another one, the climb to the beat level. This was one of the special world levels. I think there's actually 2, but the special world one is just so frenetic. It's rare that a Mario level like kind of gets my adrenaline running like that one did. And by that same token, the final level, the final actual secret level.
Yeah. See, I definitely want to talk about that one.
You want to let's talk about that one right now.
Let's jump into that.
So you have to get every Wonder Seed up to that point, every top of the flagpole up to that point, which is another thing I want to compliment them on. Actually, is the top of the flagpole stuff is actually a lot more fun in this game than it has been in previous.
Yeah, mostly I did kind of cheese it with the like the little parachute. The glider badge, but
you can definitely cheese it with the badges. There's another one that gives you like a midair jump.
Yeah.
But I feel like the challenges that they set up reminded me of Mario Land's end of level areas, which are also pretty fun and creative challenges. Anyway, you get all the flagpoles, all the 10 coins, then you get this secret level, which is a absolute gauntlet.
I was on that thing for multiple hours. And it was a little like the final section, because like the first part, like I got through, but it's like I got to like the final section, I kept like repeating that over and over and over again.
It's so fun though, like especially that area where you're running along top of the missiles and you're going off of them and then doing midair jumps,
which is like the beginning of that second section, basically.
Damn, that is it's just so high speed, so intense. You're like making hairpin turns and then climbing back up the side. Wow, and then the midair jump section that comes next is also like some of the more intensive and satisfying platforming in the whole game.
Because I think you have to still like learn some stuff on the fly. Like you have to, because you find that like you can, because you're up on like the thing on top, and then you have to like let yourself fall and then like do the midair jump again.
Yeah, that's my favorite part. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Then after what comes after that part?
It's the grapple hook.
Oh, the grapple hook. That was so fun too. And it gets scary. There's a part where you have to shoot the grapple hook onto 2 blocks that are surrounded by spikes. And it's like it looks unfair. It's not impossible by any means, but it looks really unfair, and it's rare that Mario gets that intimidating.
Yeah, and it's like very like almost like pixel perfect.
Yeah.
And then the section after that with it where you have to like with like the fire.
Yes.
You have to like keep going like super fast while you jump to the other side and make sure you can get to the top fast enough.
It really reminded me of Mario Odyssey's final level, where it's like, here's every idea from the game.
Yeah.
We're putting them all together. It's like a smorgasbord of...
And then the section I think probably also gave you the most trouble, same with me, is with the invisible badge.
Now, I don't... This is where my feelings kind of sour on the level just a little bit, because it is just horseshit.
It is, honestly.
It's terrible. You can definitely cheese it in 2-player, which I did initially because, like I said, I played through this like mostly 2-player.
Yeah.
I went back and beat it legit later, but there's a little crown above the leading player, so you can still see yourself more or less.
The other thing I read about like after I beat is that like I think it says that like your character's always centered in the middle, so that's another good way to choose it.
Yeah, that makes sense actually, because when I was going back through it, I didn't have like a super as bad a time as I was expecting to.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just because you got that centered camera.
Yeah, which like I only read about that after I beat it. I'm like, you could have told me this sooner.
The real hard part about it, just outside of the invisibility thing, is those fish. There's these new enemies that are like balloon fish, and they just don't exactly work the way you'd expect them to. It seems like they are traveling too fast or too slow or something. The way they travel is just, it throws me off. So you get to the last part and you're just dying over and over. That's what happened to me anyway. Yeah,
same with me. Because the idea, because like the first part is you have to like, jump off these like I don't know, like rubber in a way platforms. Which that part was always easy. Yeah. So like I just speed through that one pretty often. And then when you get to these like fish, I don't know if they were like fish or frogs or whatever they were.
Yeah. They might have been frogs actually.
The
right?
balloon something.
Yeah.
It's the first one like shoots in the same direction you're going, so you have to make sure you're jumping on top of that and following it. But then after that, it's like 5 or 6 that like come like against you basically. You have to time your jumps between each of those perfectly.
And if you misjudge what your momentum coming off of one of them is,
you just die immediately.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And then it sends you back to the quick dash with the
missile megs.
Yep. So it's like you get the fun part again, but it's like, okay, it's like, wait, I have to get back through.
And the earlier part of the level 2 is also fun. It's worth saying. I did think that the hopping area was kind of frustrating.
Yeah, that one, there was a couple points in there where they did kind of frustrate me, but like it only took me like a couple tries to get through that.
It's also early on enough where you might even have a power up still, and then you can just brute force your way through. But yeah, that final section is wild, and I was like shaking by the time I'm like, I got to get the last flagpole.
How many lives did you lose, or how many did you start off with? And
you will not believe this. Okay, so 99.
Okay.
1.
I'm in kind of a similar boat,
Yeah.
but I didn't get that high. I only got to like 50 something. I ended up with like 5.
Okay.
But this is also clear because I also try to maximize the amount of coins I got through each run
right.
to make sure I could at least get 1 extra life, if not 2 extra lives.
You got to think, like, we were kind of bleeding lives twice as fast because of the 2-player. That being said, it did lead to one of my favorite moments in Mario history. Mm-hmm. And it's so hard to explain that I probably just won't even try. But I'll probably upload like an unlisted video of me and Bailey beating that final level for the first time.
Yeah.
And the absolute insane way that it happened. Like, you will not believe this. So check out the description that might be there by the time this goes live. All right, any other levels that we want to talk about?
There's not really a whole lot that come to mind offhand because it's been like a week since I played it. But I remember just having a lot of fun in general playing it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's worse. Like, it sounds like, okay, we just blew through this game, but it's because it just was so hard to put down for us. Like,
it was kind of similar. Like, this is a different game, kind of different topic. It's kind of like with me when back when Link Between Worlds came out on 3DS. Yeah. Like, I beat it in like the first like couple days because I just could not put it down. It's kind of in the same boat here where it's like, I went through so fast, but it's like because I didn't want to stop basically.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely hoping for some possible DLC. I would play way more. Like, if they can't do full levels, like some more badge challenges, difficult badge challenges or something, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, or do something like maybe they did like with like New Super Mario Brothers 2 on 3DS, like how they did that DLC.
Yeah. That'd be fun for sure. So that covers the levels. This sort of plays into it, I guess, but we'll talk about this next. The difficulty of the game. This was one of the first questions that I saw people asking about the game after it launched. Like, are they done making Baby Mario? Is it hard again? Here's my kind of take on that, for starters. I don't think Mario's ever been especially hard. You can look at the Lost levels as a definitely example of it being brutal.
But I think that's an outlier.
Yeah, it's more like when a lot of people played those early games, they were kids.
Yeah.
So it seems more difficult, and then you got better at games as you got older.
And now it's like, oh, maybe they weren't as difficult anymore.
Right. So as far as difficulty goes, I was satisfied with it. I didn't think it was total baby mode. We just talked about that final level, which is going to make some kids cry. I imagine.
Absolutely. If they even try to go for 100%.
I'd say it's like in line with Super Mario World.
Yeah, I'd say like it's not too difficult, but like it's still got like some kick to it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one huge thing that makes it just a bit more difficult is like the power-up pool this time. Like even like in Mario World, if you want to, that game is beyond trivial. Grab the cape, fly over the whole level.
Yeah,
it's like embarrassingly easy. I think if Nintendo released a game like that today, people would not take it.
Yeah, they would not be.
And it's considered one of the classics of all time. So that's interesting. Anyway, let's talk about the power-ups.
Yeah.
So there's no flying power-up this time.
Yeah, which
you kind of have the badges, but
and I mean in a way, kind of the bubble if you can time it right.
Right. What I wrote down here is that we've got power-ups that augment movement but avoid breaking the game like wide open. I think I did hear that there's some infinite bubble trick, but that's kind of in the realm of like a unintended trick that it is a mechanic that you're supposed to make use of. Let's just go through each of these. So we got the Fire Flower. Classic. I don't think we need to dwell on that. The elephant power-up. This was the big one. The first thing that they showed pretty much of the game.
Yeah. And some of the characters do look a little weird.
Yeah.
As elephants.
But I got used to it eventually.
Yeah.
But, the Daisy and Peach ones especially are a little strange.
Yeah.
What do you think of the elephant power-up?
I think it's a lot of fun. I know, like, I think we were talking about before, like, how we thought that you would have to go through each level, like, with water in the... Which I ended up not being the case, which I'm a little happy about, because, I mean, I don't think you could even do that with some levels anyways.
For sure not.
But it's just like a fun, like, little Easter egg.
Yeah.
And also be able to, like, just break through blocks just with your trunk, like, while running through.
Being able to run across two tile gaps now, that's something we've never had before. It's like having the Tanuki tail kind of with an attack, but it's just got a little bit more range, which is something that Mario's never really had. And I'm kind of about it, because like the Tanuki tail or the cape kind of for low enemies, but this sort of swings all around.
Right, so it's like anything like in front of you, basically. Yeah. And
then, I don't know, I like how Mario looks as an elephant. I think it's cute.
It's silly.
We have the drill. This was like not used as much as I was expecting it to be used. And it also was less like game breaking than I expected, but I thought it was pretty cool. I definitely like being able to jump up into
like ceilings
and stuff. Yeah, and then the bubble, which I think is probably my favorite of them all.
Yeah,
unique.
I never really used it a whole lot, but like I do like how it gives you like a sort of extra jump or two.
It gives you an extra jump. It has the ability to go through walls, which is a surprisingly unique thing.
Like you can kill like enemies like on the other side of walls without needing to worry about getting hit by them.
I really like this one, and it's just a classic like change his overalls situation.
I love it.
Which we've been desperately needing since the ice flower.
So we've been missing out since then.
I think this is maybe the first game since the first new Super Mario Brothers not to have a flying power-up.
I think so.
It's kind of unique. I wonder if when we get to Wonder 2 or whatever is next.
Then what's going to break the game in that one?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the power-ups. What else do we got? I want to talk about the badges now.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
What's your favorite badge in the game?
The one I mentioned before, like the little like hang glider. I don't even know, like the parachute thing. Yeah.
My favorite is the one that makes all the sound effects goofy.
Yes, that one's really dumb, but I love it. I didn't use it like after I got it. Yeah. Like I did watch some videos about that. I'm like, that sounds dumb, and I love it.
Basically, after you beat the secret level, you get this badge that changes like most of the sound effects into just a man making the noises,
like acapella noise.
Yeah,
and it just like sounds like just so wrong.
It sounds really stupid. No, but if I had to pick like one legitimately, it'd be either the rhythm badge, which is such a cool concept, or the midair jump one. I really like that.
Yeah, that one's pretty sick. I know there are some other really cool ones like the crouch jump.
Yeah,
because
that
cool. Harkens back to like Mario 2.
Mario 2, yep.
And then like there's one that gives you like a bit like more air time in your jump.
Which yeah. If you time it right.
I think it's like you have to hold your jump a little. I'm trying to think of some.
The flutter one. Yeah, you're talking about the flutter. That's right.
Yeah. And then like some other ones like the dolphin kick is pretty cool. Like,
that makes water levels fun. There's a level where you have to chase down these 10 coins through a water area, and that one was actually very cool.
Yeah.
Because your swimming didn't suck.
Yeah, right.
The jet run badge, I think you got to give it to that one. I don't know how that's been used in speedruns just yet. But it is really fun, and I love the fact that you come off a ledge and you can still jump out of it.
One type of level actually we haven't talked about before, which I'm surprised we didn't talk about, was the Wiggler races.
Oh, the Wiggler races! Yeah, that's true.
Because like I was thinking about it reminded me that like I tried using the jet run badge in one of those levels. I'm like, I cannot. It just I bet like straight into the lava. I'm like, okay, I can't use this badge here.
Sure. Yeah, there's I think there's only 3 in the game.
Yeah.
Which again, they showed this off in one of the first trailers. That there's these. I thought it was going to be a bit bigger, but no, you race Wiggler through these levels, and I just love it when Nintendo adds time trial type stuff to these Mario games because they're just about movement. So it's the perfect kind of challenge to put in a Mario game.
And then, like one of the first things I thought of, like when I first played it, it almost harkened back to like the Koopa the Quick Race from 64.
Yeah, for sure. This is sort of off topic, but it does make me hopeful for what the next 3D Mario is, even. Right. Because this is so imaginative with some of the stuff that's in there. I'd love to see it implemented in 3D.
Right.
How about the music and the sound? I wrote down Mario's new voice actor. I thought he was pretty good. Yeah. I only noticed like occasionally that's like, okay, that didn't really sound like how I expect Mario to sound.
There wasn't like too many times where like it like caught me off guard, really.
And then everyone else sounded totally normal to me, even though I think some of the cast changed there as well.
Some did, but like again, it's like at least for us, like it wasn't noticeable enough.
I'm definitely happy that the Doom World prediction that was made that it would be an AI voiced Mario was not true. They got a real professional to do this, and I'm all about it. Then the music, I thought the music was really solid. That main like theme from I think the first level is probably etched into my mind just as much as any other Mario theme has ever been. And like I remember the underground themes is really cool. I loved it. I think it's a much stronger showing than the new Soup games for sure.
I don't know if this would really count in like sound design, but when you like have the rumble on for your controllers.
I
even had to show you about it where for certain like levels, it's mainly like the or certain like things like mainly the like the conveyor belts, as well as the like the musical like notes. It like makes like noise out of the with the rumble.
Yeah,
like almost like it's kind of like almost like it's like a speaker, even though like, there are no speakers on like the Pro Controller or the Joy-Cons.
Super cool use of HD rumble. When he first told me that, I like held the Joy-Cons up to my ears, and it created like a weird like 4-dimensional sound.
It's like hold on.
This is very interesting. Also have the Overworld. Discuss the Overworld quick. The best Overworld in a Mario game, actually, in my opinion.
It's really good. I'm a little surprised you couldn't actually skip past levels. That might have been because it was just in the demo. But like being able to like once you get past like the linearity ones, like just like the open world, it's like, oh yeah, we can kind of go throughout this little area and kind of figure like find like little secrets and stuff.
Yeah. Were you surprised that there isn't a like warp zone in the game? You kind of have to play broadly everything to get through the game. There's no like warp to World 6.
Yeah, which I think is kind of nice.
I agree.
Yeah, that way you're not like missing out on anything.
Yeah, and you definitely would. I think the creators want you to experience some of the wild ideas that they came up with for these different levels. And it would also take away the one of the unique aspects of this game where after World 2, I think, it kind of opens up and you get to select which world you want to tackle next, which they've never really done something like that before.
Right. I think it's actually after World 3.
Is it World 3? Okay, yeah.
I think it's like the first 3, it's like you have to go in order, but then like 4, 5, and 6, it's like, you can choose which one you want to go to.
Super cool.
And like there's like a lot of secrets and like in the Overworld as well you can find. I think one of my favorite things is like you can, especially early on, so you can find like a little like warp pipe. You end up finding like, oh, here's Captain Toad just hanging out for no reason. He's like, oh hey, here's some Wonder Coins, or like the flower coins.
Did you find all his locations?
I think so.
I think there's like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. I like how you can get like a hint that there's one in the Lumine Falls level.
Right.
Is that what it's called? I think I just made up. I think I took different like the Lumine Hall from Earthbound and mixed it with.
I think
Waterfall.
You're on the right track. The Shining Falls. Is it like the waterfall one?
I'm wondering if I should go back and like dub that part over. Yeah, the Shining Falls.
Yeah.
You can see his little like area, but it's just obscured enough to where it's like, oh, there's like something over there.
It's like, how do I get there?
Yeah, I think that's super cool.
And then I know like in the desert area there is something behind the desert waterfall, which I'm like, there has to be something like that in every game. I love that.
What'd you think of the boss fights? I forgot to talk about the boss fights, really.
I liked them, but I feel like it should have been like more than just Bowser Jr.
Yeah, 100%. The boss fights, I think, were one of the weaker aspects of this game. They were fun, but they just weren't up to the same level of creativity as like the normal levels often were.
Right.
And then you had like the airships, which I thought were a lot of fun too.
Yeah, airships were really
kind of surprisingly, because I have not loved those in some of the past entries.
Right.
But even then, the boss is like the same, go across the conveyor belt and stuff. So that would have been nice to see a little bit more variety in the bosses, but I'm willing to forgive it. I think that covers most of our bases on this.
I'd say so. Nothing really else is like coming to mind right now.
I guess the last thing I want to mention is just that it's cool to have a Mario game that feels like it has that unique thing about it compared to the rest of the series. Like, even the musical blocks act differently in this game than they do in the entire previous Mario series. Right. And the fact that it's just willing to, that's a minor example, but just take a convention and totally change it just for the sake of making the game stand out from its predecessors. I think that's a great sign for the future of Mario.
And hopefully there's other things in the future they're able to pull off with that as well.
Absolutely. I think that the future is bright for Mario.
Yes.
Yay!
We're out of the dark ages.
Finally.
I mean, I wouldn't really call them dark ages, but like they're just kind of gotten stale.
The gray ages?
The gray ages, yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's about it for us. I should mention actually that we were recording this, but days before Halloween. So I want to leave everybody with this one haunted idea. Me and Jordan were dead the whole time. There'll be lightning and crying and cackling witch sound effects here. All right, bye.